Let me show you how to format your essay following the MLA Guidelines 8th edition. There is some flexibility to these rules, but you do want to follow them fairly closely if you want to make your teacher happy. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you pick a legible, readable font. So the default, the standard in the field is Times New Roman, and that's what I would recommend, Times New Roman, size 12. And after that, you want to double space everything in your essay. So go to the paragraph menu, click on 2.0. And I also recommend that you remove the space after paragraph, which is sort of an annoying feature of Microsoft Word. The other thing is to make sure you're left aligning your text, except for the title, as we'll see in a moment. I can't say how annoying it is when I see text that is centered or right aligned, or even justified. Okay, after that, fill out some information about you and the course. So you start with your own name, then you provide the professor's name. Okay, so there's a professor's name, then the course name and the number, and then the date. So this would be the date when you finish the paper, you're printing it out or submitting it. Don't cheat, and if your assignment is late, pretend that the date is something else. Just be honest about it. You have some room here in terms of whether you want to abbreviate the month or if you want to spell it out. The MLA rules don't really care, and you can pick which one you prefer. Do watch out though, because the date, the day of the month, comes first, which is a bit funny in some ways. Okay, after that we're going to have the title, and as mentioned, the title is centered. So my title, you can come up with something more creative, but we'll just use that for now. After that, we go back to being left aligned, and in this case we want to start our first paragraph, but we want to press the tab key on the keyboard in order to start our paragraph with an indent. So start paragraph. Okay, that's our introduction. And then after that, you can make sure that each paragraph is separated, not with extra spacing, but in the same way by just pressing the tab key. Between your sentences, you probably want to use only one space. Okay. Next sentence. There we go. It used to be the norm to use two spaces, and it took me a while to get used to the transition, but nowadays the standard is just one space. Scrolling back up, we want to make sure we have a header, and there's two ways to kind of access the header. You can double click at the top of your screen. You can also go to Insert at the top here, Insert, and press Page Number. And we're going to press on top of the page and then pick plain number 3. So that would be on the right side of the header. After that, we will write our last name. So the student's last name followed by a space. Make sure you add that space. And then you can format this as well. So right now, both of these things are in Calibri format, as you can see here. So if you do want to format them, you can change them to Times New Roman to match. So just be aware of that. If you want to get out of this area, you can double click, just as you can double click at the top to get into it. And then the last thing you need to know is just how to format your works cited. So before you start your works cited, where you list all your sources, make sure that you insert a page break. So insert page break, and that keeps your works cited on a separate page, which is quite important. Then we want to center our heading here. So we're going to call this works cited. If you have only one entry, you will call it works cited. Take off the S, and that's the only thing you need to know here. Press enter, go back to being left aligned, and now we want to include our entries. Okay, so I've just copied an entry here, and then the only thing that you need to know after this is to make sure that you use hanging indentation. So highlight your entry, or highlight all of them. You can do this all at the same time if you want. Go to paragraph, click on this little icon, and select special indentation, which in this case is hanging indentation. So there we go. And that ensures that there's a tab space before every line after the first for every single entry. And so often students do it in the reverse order. I don't know why, but make sure that you do it this way. And then your next entry is just going to start on the next line, right? So next entry here. That is pretty much all you need to know for how to format your essay following the MLA Guidelines 8th edition.